Well, shucks, guys. I have an interesting lesson planned. It's very much a kind of a baby lesson, a baby rolling lesson. So go ahead. Well, let's go ahead. You'll need a bit of room. We'll be rolling right and left. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. So let's go ahead and get on down. Get on down. Very nice, beautiful, beautiful laying down of the bones. So just notice how you start, how you begin today on your back. And notice what's touching the floor. Notice what touches your floor with the most clarity. And notice which places are lifted away. And are those places symmetrically lifted away on the right side and on the left, or is there a difference there? And so now just to prepare a little bit, prepare the spine for being able to take hold of the foot. Let's stand up both feet and interlace the fingers and bring them behind the head. And only doing what's easy, only doing what's easy. Bring your elbows forward as you lift your head a little bit away from the floor and look forward. And do that many times and let the air out of the lungs so that the chest can flatten. And only lift where it's easy to lift and where you're not straining to lift further. And the more and more that you do this, you'll find that the head starts to come a little further on its own without, hello, Jeffrey's going to help weigh down the pelvis there. You can look at your cat. It's so wonderful to have a friendly face to look at, to look into and gaze into the eyes of your beloved. Yes. So each time make the lifting easier. Feel if more of the ribs, maybe the floating ribs, begin to make contact with the floor. Maybe the pelvis begins to assist in the movement. And then let's take a little rest. Feel if anything came a little closer to the floor, perhaps. So now bring your knees over your chest. Bring your knees over your chest and hug your knees to your chest. You can wrap your hands around the lower part of the kneecap and spread the knees comfortably. Spread the knees comfortably and just begin to roll a little to the right and a little to the left, a little to the right and a little to the left without force and without momentum. Just so you feel a little bit more of the back pressed down on the right side of the spine, and then a little bit more on the left side of the spine. And of course, the head can roll along in the same direction as the pelvis. And Jeffrey goes for a wild ride in Stephanie's lap. But since he's a cat and he has 9 lives, he's actually doing the opposing movements. As Stephanie's body rolls to the right, the cat's head goes to the left until he gets fed up and leaves. Okay, take a rest. And now some of you were here in the class on Saturday, and we repeated that lesson yesterday. I actually put it up on the channel. It's done mostly in the imagination. Well, a lot of it's done in the imagination. So for our next step, let's actually fold up our knees, our legs, and bring the right knee over the chest so the left foot can be standing. And bring the right knee over the chest. And now here's where we'll find out how we do. Slip your Gesundheit. Slip your right hand in between the legs, meaning in the middle of the thighs. So the leg will, the arm will come towards the foot from the inner thigh. And just help your head with your left hand. Help your head lift so that you could bring your right hand to your right foot. Your right hand, your other right hand, Barbara, the other right hand towards the right foot. And the left hand helps the head lift. The left hand does not grab hold of the foot and drag it closer to you. And do that a number of times. So just let everything go. Place the head down. You could even stand the foot again. And then now just think about coming into this position. You can bring the knee over the chest. You can slip the left hand behind the head. You can insert the right hand next to the inner thigh, and you can think about how bringing the foot towards the hand, because the right hand, the right thumb, what we're aiming for, I know what we're going to do. Take a rest on your back. Let's approach this from a different perspective. Let's come to sitting. Let's come to sitting. And bend your knees. Have your right foot close to you. And reach forward from in between your legs with your right, like you can have your legs however you like. Just reach forward to insert your right thumb in between the right big toe and the rest of the toes. So you bend your leg towards you. You can have it folded like a tailor, or like an Indian yogi mystic. And insert your big toe, insert your big thumb in between your big toe and the rest of the toes. And take hold of the 4 toes with the rest of your hand. So this is an odd baby grip. The thumb in between the big toe and the rest of the toes, and you're holding on to the 4-foot of the toes with the rest of your fingers. And just lift this in the air a few times. Lift this whole kit and caboodle in the air. So what does that mean? How could you lift it high in the air without any force? Bring your left hand behind you as a supportive safety behind you on the floor, so you could lean back on it. You could lean back on it, and you could roll over the pelvis towards the back. Your other leg could be bent or standing. And just lift the right leg in the air many times, holding in this funny grip. Lift the leg, lift the arm. The elbow is on the inside of the leg the whole time. Stays in the middle of the legs. And then the next time you do that, because it's such fun. I mean, we could do that. We could actually, this is a lesson in and of itself. Look downwards at your crotch the next time you go backwards. See if a different part of your spine or more of your spine rounds. If you lift the leg this way, with the head looking down. Is it a little easier? Make it easier each time. Lighter. No straining allowed. Yeah, make it fun. Just make sure that you don't fall back. If you fall back, that you're not going to knock yourself out on your dresser or a sharp object. I see a mirror leaning up against the wall. This always gives me, this always concerns me. Okay, let's rest on the back and see what that did. What did it do for your flatness or lack thereof? What did it do for the sensation of your toes on the right and on the left? And now stand both your feet and bring the right knee over the chest. Or what the hell, bring both knees over the chest. It'll be easier. And with your right hand, insert your hand in between your legs and take hold of your, yeah, that same grip. Put your thumb in the web of in between the big toe and the rest of the toes. And there we go. See? Okay, so now from here, simply lengthen the leg upwards several times and make it just real fun and real easy. You can help the head lift with the other hand. You can leave the head on the floor. And you're just tra-la-la, just lifting the leg, and it's fun and it's easy. And you're extending your arm and you're extending the leg, and you're rounding the back. Notice what your left leg does. Does it do something? Does it participate? Does it just hang out? Let the chest soften each time. Let the chest soften, the air go out. This part of the back needs to be able to round well. Well, the whole spine needs to be able to round well, but in order to lengthen the arm, lengthen the shoulder blade, lengthen the leg. Wonderful. Okay. Rest on your back. And now see if, well, take hold of the same foot in the same manner. The same big toe, grab hold of the baby toes, hold them in the palm of your hand. And I was going to say, can you stand your left foot on the floor? Everybody did. So it's just there. How wonderful is that? So the left foot is now standing on the floor. So now simply begin to open the leg a bit to the right so that the weight of the body starts to be rolled to the right simply by the weight of the leg. So here's the thing. You could push with the left foot. You could push with the left arm. You could use your abdominals to roll yourself. No, we're going to use the weight of the right leg and arm going over to the right to begin to roll you. Now you might go, eh. That's okay. It's going to get better. It's the weight of the leg. So you open it a bit, and you could open it out to the side. You could open it out to the side, and the weight of the leg drags you. And now pay attention to the left knee. And feel, does it want to tilt over to the left? Let it tilt over to the left, because the weight of that thigh. And it might not tilt yet. That's fine. In many ways, we have our ways. Yeah, what do you do? What does your head want to do? The next time you bring the weight of the right leg over to the right, drag your head over to the right along the floor. Drag it over. Drag it over and come back. And notice what your shoulder girdle does. So we're dragging the head to find out what the shoulder girdle does. And now I'm going to add a little step, but before we do that, let's take a rest. Come again into the same position. But with your left arm, take hold, tuck it if you can, underneath your right armpit. Like you could catch hold of your ribs there, just tuck it there. And take hold of your right big toe with your right hand from in between the legs there. So now you've got your left hand is trapped underneath your right armpit. And open the leg, open the right leg, and see if, now that the hand is trapped there, it can hold on to the ribs, it can hold on to the edge of the shoulder blade. Does that help pull the left shoulder away from the floor as you open the leg over to the right? Maybe, maybe not. We just want to take away the drag of the left arm. Yeah, so feel the movement passing over onto the right side of the back. Ironing out those ribs, ironing out those tight places in the soft space between the floating ribs and the top of the pelvis, softening the chest. This is idle baby rolling. Developmental lesson here. And the softer and easier you make it, you might find that you roll a little more easily towards the right. Okay, let's take a rest down. Let's take hold of the left big toe with the left hand. So stand up your feet or bring the knees over the chest or whatever you need to do to insert your left, right, it comes right away, doesn't it? Insert your left arm in between your legs and take hold in the web, take hold of the four toes. And the leg is bent over the chest. The leg is bent over the chest or out to the side. It's folded, it's folded. And then begin to unfold it and fold it again. Unfold it and fold it several times. Fold it and unfold it. So that the weight of the leg, you start to feel a little heavier on the left. And you can look with your eyes at the foot as it goes over there to the left. And you could even stick your your right hand around your ribs under your right armpit and see with the weight of the left leg moving over to the left, the weight of your right arm resting on your belly and your chest. Does that help the shoulders come a little bit more, the upper body? But the rolling is happening because of the weight of the left leg and arm. Everything else is a passenger. Make it easier and simpler each time. Wonderful. I'd say this side is all caught up to the other side, so take a rest. See how little we had to do on this side. It already knew what to do. Stand both your feet. Stand both your feet and extend your left arm long on the floor overhead. Left arm long on the floor overhead. And begin to drag the back of the hand along the floor, along your mat, along your rug, over to the right. So the left arm, the hand drags over to the right and comes back. Drags over to the right and comes back. Not forcefully, not strenuously, just travels, the fingers grazing the floor over to the right. And there's a place where your head will start to turn. Where is that place? The head begins to turn and the left shoulder blade starts to lighten its contact with the floor. Bring your arm down for a moment and pause. Bring your right foot over your chest and insert your big thumb in between your big toe and grab hold of your four toes with the rest of your hand. And again, bring your left arm overhead on the floor. And from here, so the right leg is now just passive, as you're just hanging on to this position. You're hanging onto the toes. Begin to sweep your left arm to the right and come back. Sweep the left arm over to the right and come back. Notice how the body starts to roll, and because you're holding on to the right leg and the knees out to the side there, that right knee will start to be a weight and help the body get heavier on the right. Right. So now, can you lengthen down, the next time you're on your back, lengthen down your left leg. Lengthen it down. And begin to drag the heel of the left leg over to the right as you drag the left arm over to the right. Drag them on the floor and come back. Drag them on the floor and come back. The title of this lesson is called Weight and Dragging. So the weight of the right leg and arm, the dragging of the left arm and leg starts to roll the body a bit to the right. Now, if you were to lengthen your right leg, what might happen, and when would you do it? As you are dragging your left leg and arm over to the right, you might find that your right thigh starts to come closer to the floor and might even touch. If you have enough room over there to the right, you could drag the foot and the arm over to the right, and the right thigh and knee could come onto the floor. But the left knee and left elbow, they want to bend. At a certain point, they want to fold, so allow them to do that. But listen to when that moment is. So as you drag the left heel and left arm to the right, when would they fold towards the other? The left knee and the left elbow, after they've dragged you to a certain place, they can fold, and the weight of those limbs can bring you all the way onto your right side. Aha. Weight and dragging. So at a certain point, the limbs will want to fold. Let's take a little rest. Let's see if it got better after resting. So stand up your feet, grab hold of your right big toe, or rather the four toes with the right thumb in between the big toe. Lengthen down your left leg and raise your left arm on the floor. And drag them over to the right until they leave the floor on their own and they start to fold. And that folding and the weight of the right leg can bring you all the way onto your right side. The knee and the elbow, and then come. Then straightening the left leg and reaching up with the left arm, you can drag yourself back onto your back. So the motor for this movement is the dragging limbs of the left side. And then at which point, what's the tipping point? What's your own personal tipping point where you start to come off the back and there's a tipping point where back becomes something in between side and back? And when is the point when you begin to bend the left knee? And then let it bend, 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 bend. Bring them into your chest to make yourself into a little ball. And then you've got a nicely rounded spine. And then you open like a flower. Open like a flower. And the opening of the left limbs rolls you onto your back. So you drag yourself over into a folded flower, and then you open the left side and it rolls you onto the back into the middle. So it's the periphery that is causing the rolling into the center rather than the center pulling you into a ball. Let's take a rest. I find this lesson to be very ligamental. It lengthens a lot of ligaments and fascia. Probably feeling that in a similar, sort of similar to what we did on Saturday. So let's do the other side. Stand up your feet. Take hold of your left foot from in between the big toe. Take hold of all your four toes with your hand in that funny grip. And start easy. You can start with the right foot standing and simply place the right arm long on the floor overhead and start to sweep it over to the left. Now your body already knows what to do. Yeah. The arm sweeps over and things start to change, and there's a tipping point, and you go from a creature lying on its back to a creature lying more towards the side. And the left knee can touch down, the left thigh can touch down. You might feel the right leg wants to come along, so let it come along. Let it come along. If it facilitates the movement, let the right leg come along. And now you can maybe lengthen the right leg. And from the right leg sweeping to the left and the right arm sweeping to the left, there's a point, there's a tipping point. There's a tipping point. And that tipping point, is it helpful at that tipping point to then begin to fold? What I think a lot of this lesson is the success of the movement being easy has to do with timing. It's weight and dragging and timing. So when would be the right moment to fold the groin, to fold the elbow towards the knee? Now the left foot poses an interesting dilemma because it's kind of in the way, but you can figure out what to do about that. It's just about folding the limbs. But the right leg and the right arm are what's responsible for you rolling onto the back and onto the side. And how do you keep it comfortable for your neck and your breathing? So the left side folds together and the right side opens and lengthens as you sweep the arms over, and then everything folds. And then you can open like a flower. And those ligaments get longer and longer, just with the weight dragging them into a greater length. This is lovely. And as usual, Stephanie has already figured out the next step of the lesson. So let's take a rest. Okay, so for our next trick, bend up your knees, take hold of the right toes in between the web of the big toe and the rest of the toes in between the legs with the right arm. See how easy that is now? And so now lengthen the right, the left leg down and the right arm long overhead. And now the left, I meant left, right, I said right, but I meant left. The left leg and left arm are long in a line, like an axis. Okay, so now the left leg and arm are passengers, and the right leg and arm is what's going to bring you onto your right side into a folded position. So extend the leg up, the right leg up, and carry it, steer it like a rudder. Your right leg is like a rudder. And like the till of the rudder, and you're holding it with your right arm. And you carry it to the right, and then you fold up. You fold up, and then to bring yourself back onto the back in the middle, you use the left side. The left side opens like a flower, and you come onto the back. Then the right leg extends up and out to the side. You carry it out, you carry it over there. So again, timing, are you going to extend it up and carry it to the side, or are you going to extend it sort of over there already? So the right side drags the left side onto your right side, and the left limbs roll you onto the back. So we're taking turns in which side is active. First, the right side is active and the left side is a passenger and folds. And then the left side is active and the right side is the passenger. Yes, good. Have your left arm up towards your dresser, Barbara, if you can. And let the arm be carried over to the right as you, yes. The left hand sweeps overhead in an arc. It'd be something fun to do at the beach. Right side rolls you to the right. Left side is passive. Left side is inactive, and the right side is passive. And let's take a rest. Bend up your knees, take hold of your left toes from inside the leg. Insert your thumb in between the big toe and the rest of the toes. And bring the legs, the right arm and right leg long, and sweep them over to the left till you fold up a couple of times. And then unfold. And the left leg is pulled and dragged and is passive. It's a weight. And now change your intention. The left leg opening, and you steer it over to the left until you reach a tipping point. You might not get there right off the bat. You might kind of play with the edge there's that tipping point where you start to go onto the side, but you're not all the way on the side. It's an interesting place of balance. It's the point of transition where the limbs start to fold and that knocks you onto your side. Pretty straightforward. You can play with the extension, the point of extension and the point of folding of the right limbs, and how the folding of them brings the pelvis around and brings the shoulder girdle around. So the right side, I'm sorry, the left side now is what brings you over onto your left side. The limbs follow, and then they just sort of fold up on their own, and then they extend away from each other, and their weight drags you back onto the back into the middle. Timing is everything. Don't forget to breathe. Very nice. Let's take a rest. Looks like we need a rest, so let's take a rest. I'm debating if we should continue or stop here. What do we want to do? Do you feel like you've gotten something out of this lesson? We get thumbs up. Yeah, I don't want to do too much. Don't want to do too much.
What would come next?
What would come next? Well, since you asked. Oh, Barbara's getting up. Get up, stand up for your rights. Enjoy the back, enjoy the back, enjoy your back. Enjoy your back. And yeah, let's kind of, Jeannie has an interesting idea. Fold both your legs over your chest and take hold from inside the legs in the webs of the toes and grab hold of the toes with your hand. Hold the small toes in the palm of your hand. It's such an interesting grip. And then you could just raise the head and raise both legs up a few times. Lengthen everything. Ta-da. Just lengthen up, very easy. See how high up the legs go. Just bring them up high and easy. Feel where you roll onto the back. Does the pelvis come away from the floor? Does the head come away from the floor? Extend the arms. Try one side, try the other side, then try both together. I think this is a good place to stop. We'll revisit this lesson for sure. For sure. So you can rest on your back or you can come up to standing. And hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like that one. That one was good.